We are doing a series regarding all around our seafarers. Last week, if you've joined, we interviewed James, who is a seafarer who was not able to leave his vessel because of the current restrictions because of COVID. He ended up spending 308 days on board. This week, what we're going to do is interview Vitalii, who has a very interesting case, and we're going to bring the attention back around actually the issues joining a vessel, and he has a unique experience where he could not join, and then once he actually joined, because of the country's restrictions, it was difficult for him to get home. So I'm Emmanolia Kolias, and I am with Safebridge, and I'm going to turn it over to Vitalii so he can go ahead and just introduce himself a little bit.
Thank you, Emma. Hello, everyone. Welcome on board, how we normally say. And it's a pleasure to meet you all here. Unfortunately, I can't see, but this is maybe a privilege. Seafarer, I'm currently in a position of chief officer. And actually, I have spent already around, I think 10 years at sea. Not technically at sea, but in the strait. And I started as a deck cadet, and grew up to this chief officer position. And basically, I had experience in different parts of the world. Currently, I work in the area of Europe and the Russian Arctic. So if somebody is excited about Russian Arctic, I can share some stories about the ice, what it is and how it works. Luckily I visited different areas. I worked in different areas and met many interesting people because most of the time I was in multinational crew. And what else? Currently, I live in St. Petersburg. It is in Russia. They call it the cultural capital of Russia. So just Google it and you will see the beauty of the city. Maybe one day you would come to meet us here, and I would strongly recommend do it in summertime.
Well, thank you for this wonderful introduction. I'm glad everybody gets to know about your background and where exactly you actually work. So discussing this pandemic, right? This pandemic has really brought out a lot. It's brought out flaws for onshore as well as flaws for people who work out in the sea. Our seafarers, right? They were very quick to create measures for essential employees and who is an essential employee. But then, as we find, seafarers were kind of not really put in this bucket. I don't know if, obviously you share the same sentiment regarding the essential employees, but in a few words, can you tell us how this pandemic has affected your professional life as a seafarer?
So, what to say? To be honest, my situation is not the worst one because I talk to my colleagues, I talk to friends of mine, and to be honest, they're like more dramatic stories than I had. And thanks God that my situation is still fine if compared to others. I would say what really affected me as a seafarer, let's say, yes, taking into account the specification of our work, yes, that you have to travel somewhere, you can't just do it from home or from the office, that you are like unknown, you don't know what to expect, what's going to happen. Yes, and you know that uncertainty, it's always scary in any way. I mean, for every person, yes. And this uncertainty, what actually affected me a lot, because my thoughts were immediately about my family, of course. I have children as well. And then like, oh, what's going to happen? Yes, what kind of plan B for myself? Yes, how I'm going to protect my family, how I'm going to support my family again. And then, you know, and this normal stressful things and thoughts like, okay, I did it I had it I had done it for last 10 years and I don't know what to do else, what I'm going to do in case if I have to stay ashore, what I'm going to do. Yes, and where to apply for job, and you're looking around, and then how many people losing their jobs as well ashore because companies are closed. Yes, small businesses are shut down as well, and then and you this I think this fear, stress, and uncertainty. This is most dangerous things that affected me as a person.
Well, those are the key triggers that can really alter the way you think, right? These are very serious triggers that you would need to deal with, and especially in a situation like this. But I do want to get, so you experienced it all, right? And yes, it's you have a different experience probably because of the company that you work for and maybe the solutions that they provided for you that your friends or other seafarers did not get that opportunity, right? So how one I would like, how did it all start for you? So you were supposed to join a vessel, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, I even had already flight details and confirmation from office. I mean, we were constantly in touch, and actually, the main idea was to carry out this change. I mean, to crew change for me and my reliever, just in time. You know, just it was. I think it was beginning of March, as I remember, some mid of March, and we just wanted to make it fast. That because there were already a lot of rumors about the shutdown of borders, countries, and so. But unfortunately, we were unlucky and we couldn't make it because borders were
Shut.
shut. Yes, no flight, and you know the worst thing that the Russia was shut as well. I mean, okay, if you see on one hand, it's a good thing that it was closed because just to stop spreading the virus, correct? But
Right.
on the other hand, as a seafarer who's supposed to travel, yes, you are again desperate because come on, I have already flights.
Right.
So, but yeah, but
And
this is
this goes back to calling seafarers essential employees, right? Because you guys are essential to all sense of the word, right? You guys defined essential. If it weren't for the shipping industry, things, the economy, right? The trading, it would just stop. If
okay.
so you guys are essential. So if the governments did name you essential, you guys would be able to travel, right, and get to where you need to be. Crew changes would be able to be conducted. You would be able to get home, right, without the restrictions. Um, so this is one thing that we, needs to be pushed. So tell me a little bit. So and the whole time that you're trying to join a vessel, you're not getting paid, correct?
No, this is the most interesting part of my story. Why I
Okay.
said that it's quite uh, like a story with happy end in
Yeah,
my
good.
case, because to be honest, I got full support from my company, and I'm grateful and thankful for that.
Yeah.
And I believe some people can disagree with me, or I don't care. I mean, personally, I got good support and constant communication. It was not like, you know, silence. Something happened, and no, it was constant communication, discussion of options. Then, of course, when my leave days were over, it was again discussion with the office. We discussed future options, how we're going to solve this problem, and like on the phone. It's not like something like chat or some emails. No, it was on the phone, and we made some commitments from my side, from office side, and including the current situation. Yes, taking into account the current situation. And to be honest, I would say that formally all these things and all these issues were solved quite well, and it worked well for me. I mean, it means that what I said before about the uncertainty and fear, and at least it was gone.
Right.
And for
Because you
I
had
mean,
the open communication.
yes, exactly. This open. Oh, thank you for this. Yeah, open communication, and this is, I think, it's a crucial thing in
Oh, of course.
everywhere. Yeah, especially in these difficult times.
Now, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
do you mind saying which company you work for, or?
You know, I'm not
Fine.
sure. Yes, I'm not
Well
sure
done. Well
when I.
done to the
Yes,
company that you work
yes,
for having the open communication and really supporting
yes.
seafarers. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you in a tough spot there.
No.
But
I don't know how it
yeah,
works. So better
yeah,
just if somebody wants,
just
they can
leave it.
always find me
Yeah.
in the social networking and see what
Yeah.
company.
Okay. So finally, how many times did you have to wait to get on board? So,
Oh, it was, I think, minimum every month at least. Once in a while it was,
mhm,
because you should always remember about the current schedule of the vessel,
mhm,
correct? You
yeah,
can't just predict. It's not like public transport that you know that in
right,
a few stops it will be yours. Yeah.
right,
So
right.
yeah. And no, actually every month we tried something. We tried different
Okay.
options, and most important that at some point I just realized, actually thanks to my wife for this advice. She said, try to stay in contact with your colleagues on board, because for them it's very important as well to know that you are there, you are ready, that
Yes.
you are making some steps, you are taking some actions, because
Right.
for them it's even worse, as you said, that I personally believe that it is worse to stay on board rather at home, because
Right.
at least I was surrounded by my
Your
family.
family.
Yes.
So can you tell me a little bit about so you able to keep in contact to your colleagues? How were they? Like what was going through their mind? Because you're at home and you had all this uncertainty and fear and not
Mhm.
knowing what's happening next. What is going through their mind? Um, it's like compounded because they are stuck on a vessel. They're not with their
Mhm.
families. They don't know what's going on back home. How were they handling it?
Okay, let's say those guys whom I talked to, my
Hmm.
colleagues.
Yep.
What I okay, we used to send voice messages via WhatsApp or some messenger, whatever, just because I wanted to hear their like mood in these messages.
Yep.
Because when you type in text, it's like plain, yeah. But
Right.
when you hear what people tell you, you start feeling the notes there. And
Yes.
actually, I would say that. And what I understood from them, yes, this uncertainty, this is the killer. We'll
Right.
say the killer, because they don't know, they didn't know when to expect. And
Hmm.
I think personally, again, and I believe many seafarers will share these thoughts, that the worst thing on board, when you don't know the date of your sign off. That's all. At
Right.
least when you join, and let's say, and you inform from the beginning, man, now it's a difficult situation in the world and you have to spend 6 months. You say,
Right.
okay,
Okay.
I will be
Yeah.
brave, I will be courageous, but I will handle it. Yes.
Right.
But when you come in on board, and let's imagine that you have contract, let's say, okay, let it be short, like 2-3 months. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then you finish your 2 months, you finish your 3 months, then you got message, official message. It's not like your reliever saying, oh, sorry, I don't have my passport ready or something. No, you
Right.
just get this in the world. The world is closed, man. You can't do anything, and nobody knows when it will be opened. And they immediately asking us, and we are saying we're exactly in the same boat, but from the other side. We don't know when it will be opened. We try our best. We try everything, and yeah, they were stressed, of course, but when I talked to them already in person, when I joined the ship, they told me that they just concentrated on work. That was only a solution, that, okay, who was interested in gym, they were going to some physical exercises. Who was interested in reading books, they just read books. and anyway, you see, another thing that on board you can't just simply relax because you have operations. Yes, you have to do, you can be distracted by something. You have operations, cargo operations, some everyday routine jobs, and I mean, it will distract you somehow, but yeah, this is my main thought, that you just, even if you try to go down to be depressed, your colleagues probably will pull you from there, because you are the one of the main links on board, of this chain. That
well, no, it's that's a good point that you bring up. But so you finally got on board, you were able to see your colleagues, but what exactly did you find? What kind of atmosphere did you find? Were there people that, like they couldn't handle? Were they tired? I'm sure the fatigue from, I don't know how long your colleagues were on board for. I'm sure probably a long time. How was it with the fatigue and, trying to just keep everything moving pretty much on board?
Okay, we didn't have a lot of time to talk because, like crew change happening like in 1-2 days, and then you should also concentrate on the handover because you have to take some things. Yeah, but in general, they didn't look so bad. Maybe
maybe they were excited to get off.
Yes, exactly. I don't want to say, oh, come on, why you come? No. I'm just saying that probably they were already so excited to see us, to understand that it's really happening, and this is real already. This is not some talks or some plans. We are here. We are just my reliever hugged me like probably he never hugged somebody in his life, because I could feel it, like, hello, I'm so happy to see you. Yes, and it was like this. Guys were happy, they were excited, and of course when bad times already gone and they finish, probably you just immediately forget about this. You just try to concentrate on your future, on your current condition, and I believe this is main thing. This is what I just wanted to make a final line, that this is my advice, that and maybe everyone knows that when bad times over, you don't concentrate on it. Yes, you just try to move forward. Otherwise, if you start living with your past, your future is not so bright and miserable, actually. Better just forget about this, face the reality that it happened, that most important, that many people were affected. I mean, all people in the world were affected, and just concentrate. Because when I was joining, I already set up my mind. I discussed with my wife, with my family, and we were prepared that I might spend more than I expected. So, and I was prepared for this, and this is normal. I mean, for me, it was normal because I clearly understood the situation.
Good. Thank you for that. So once I just had a few more questions. Once you were able to get on board, you're working your contract. How was it trying to get home?
No, I mean, I'm just trying to remember how it was. Actually, the main issue that I faced, and not only me, all my colleagues, that this news were going and going and coming, that's so-called second wave of COVID is coming. Yeah, was coming. So then again, new blocks, new shutdowns, no flights. And then I was reading news, especially about Russia, because that was my concern to get back home. Because at least my European colleagues, they were a bit relaxed because, first of all, they don't worry about Schengen visa, correct? Because you can, with the European passport, you can travel inside. Yes. And second of all, that they said, even in worst case scenario, they could just hire some taxi or ask relatives just to drive to some country, pick up them from there and bring home. That is like worst case scenario, you know. And in my case, I was thinking, okay, very good plan, but what about me? Because, okay, luckily I had Schengen visa. And I will just explain the situation with Russia, how it was. We didn't have direct flights from Russia to any part of the world. We had only domestic flights.
Okay.
That's all. And no flights inside at some point. Of course, now it's a little bit easy already, but at some point everything was blocked. And then there were like two options. Either you're going to Belarus, crossing the border, because Russia and Belarus, we are like long-time friends, and then borders were open for us. So I could fly from Belarus, from Minsk. And then another option, what I found living in St. Petersburg, because it's much more convenient for me and closer, just to go to Estonia, because it's like 250, 300 kilometers away from St. Petersburg to Tallinn, if I'm not mistaken. If somebody knows better, just correct me in chat. Okay, I didn't use Belarus as the first option because it's quite far away from me. So I used Estonia since I had Schengen visa. And problem was that you can't cross the border by any transport. You have to do it by walking. So it means one car brought me to the border. I grabbed my luggage, all my stuff, walked there, then prove that I'm seafarer, that I'm seafarer, that I'm really going on board, because that very important to have all these papers from office, guarantee letters, confirmation from agent. So I got all these papers. I proved that I'm seafarer with all my Siemens book, all my docs. They checked everything, and then another guy met me in Estonia after border. So he grabbed me and brought to the Tallinn airport. So where I had the flight to Amsterdam. So, and in Amsterdam, it was only beginning when this shutdown was a little bit like slackened. So they had like one flight per day or something. So anyway, I arrived at Amsterdam in the morning. So my next flight to Madrid was on the next morning. So, but the worst thing again, being Russian in Europe, that all these officials, immigration office, they didn't allow me to live in this area, like international area, just to find hotel there in Amsterdam or something for one day. But again, as I said, thanks to support of our HR managers who just booked me some hotel inside of this international area, like this like capsule hotels, like small room, just only sleep and wash and enjoy your life. And so luckily this our HR manager, he booked like at the last moment. It was last room, he told me. So I immediately proceeded there, left my luggage, and tried to find some food or something. And the most interesting thing that everything is closed. And yes, and only McDonald's was open. Of course, I was not surprised, to be honest. But yes, so, and this is the moment when when for myself, for example, I try to keep this healthy lifestyle. but but it's exactly moment when you saying to yourself, okay, it's only for one day. There is no problem. I can do it.
Exactly. You cheat
Yeah,
just one day.
yes, of course, because it's reality, it's emergency, and all your principles, all your views of point of views, you can immediately change because it's reality, and you have to face it. Yes, and yes, it was one day in Amsterdam, and then next day I had flight to Madrid, and that time in Spain they didn't have domestic flights, and our final destination was the port in the northern part of Spain. So Ferrol, if somebody knows, and again we were picked up by taxi drivers, and 7 hours drive to Ferrol. So actually I really enjoyed this drive. Okay, 7 hours it's too long maybe, but at least I thought at some point, but maybe it's only one time, a lifetime opportunity to see Spain, you know, like, because
And you
normally,
saw it.
yes, and I saw it from mid of Spain to the northern part. So, and actually, okay, maybe as you noticed that I try to take things positively because
Yes.
unfortunately this is reality, and we have to live in it.
Well, of course. Well, and this is probably what helped you get through a lot of some of the emotions in the beginning.
Exactly.
You were able to mentally prepare yourself for what was coming, right?
Yes.
So, and I like the fact that you had stated that. Well, I don't like the fact that this is happening, but um, the people on board at these moments definitely had a different experience because they didn't get a chance to mentally prepare themselves. They
Exactly.
didn't know they didn't know what was happening. And as we're going through lockdowns again, this is only going to continue, right? I know countries now are trying to do everything they can so that they don't have to close borders again, but it's probably in the near future as countries are getting their second waves, that they're going to get the third waves. This is what we need to expect. But how can we help? How can the companies help? You had a wonderful company that um, kept the communication going, did everything that they can, and are still doing everything that they can to support you. But this is not every seafarer, right? You have that unique experience. So what I would like to know is what can companies do to support?
Thank you for this question. Actually,
Yeah.
this just give me a second
Yes.
to give valuable answer. So, I think the most important thing, I believe you already yes, you already mentioned it about open communication.
Mm-hmm.
This is this is, no, I think this is most important thing. This is crucial, essential, and all other synonyms for this word. That's open communication. Yes, that let's say seafarer, she, he, whoever, they must sitting at home, for example. Yes, they must know that sooner or later they're going to join the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys who are on board, they must be also informed about the current situation, what's going on. And as I said, my wife idea was to keep constant communication with my colleague. This is,
Yeah.
I think at some point it's supportive. Normally it's like informal thing between seafarers. I believe, at least what I try to do, when you're at home, when you're on board, you don't bother your reliever because he's on vacation, correct? And if
Yeah.
if you don't know how to solve the problem, please do it by yourself. Don't please
Right.
bother him because he is really enjoying his life with his family. But at this moment, we are not talking about job. At least we can to be in constant communication about the normal stuff. You know, at least my reliever is Russian as well. It was good for me because, and for him, that I could keep him updated, keeping him updated about the current situation in Russia. Because, as I told you, our main concern was about Russians. For us, how to travel, because let's say if you don't have visa, let's say I was with visa, but for example another guy doesn't have visa, what to do? Yes, how to travel? How are you going to explain that I'm going on board? Okay, no problem, but you don't have visa, my friend. Where are you going? And another story that I just forgotten to mention. Remember, I said about the first option as a Belarus. But most probably, you know, it was highlighted in European news, world news, everywhere, that they had some issues with this president election, some kind of close to revolution, some stories. Yes, and but this politics, I don't want to discuss it. I mean, because everyone has.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, we don't go there. It's very deep and dark, and yeah. So, my point that it was closed for us. The border was closed, so you couldn't use this option, and it means what was option for me when I traveled home, when I planned my way back to home. That I included Estonia again because that worked. It was close to my home. Okay, I will not lie that I have some relatives in Estonia. At least it's some kind of support as well, that I know that they can meet me at least, or give some hand if required. Yes, and Emma, I strongly believe that your sound disappeared.
Hello.
Yes, now better. Thank you. So I planned again. I planned via Amsterdam. It was then Riga. Riga is Tallinn, and then by cars to St. Petersburg, because Belarus was closed. But at some point, then I remember that Russia and Turkey opened borders. So some guys I know, they flew via Turkey. So they from Turkey direct to Moscow, at least, because the story starts when you come back home. Because as per our Russian government instructions and orders, you have to pass a COVID test in next 72 hours and upload your results in our government system. We have very nice application where you can find all information about everything. So you have to upload there. And this was the problem, because so many people try to pass this test, and the laboratories, they take normally up to 5 working days. So because if you don't pass it in exact time, I think the fine at that time was around, if I'm not mistaken, around 200 euro or something. So it's also painful.
Well, of course.
Yes. And and then you start, you can't just come back home and relax. You have to already think about your future. So you just find laboratory. I remember I discussed with them if they could just make an express test or something, like if I could pay a little extra money that to get my results like in two days at least, not 5 days. Yeah. So
now it's you that's paying for the test, or is the company paying for the test?
No, of course, company. This is part
okay.
of yeah, of course, it's part of your traveling. But at this moment, you don't think about this money, because test is like, if to convert to Russian money, it's not more than 10 or 15 euros. It's nothing compared to 200 when you pay penalty.
Right, exactly. So there's a lot of talk about well-being and the mental health of the seafarers, and like I said, your story is how a company should be handling this kind of atmosphere. Do you feel that I know it's a taboo subject, especially in the maritime industry, with mental health. What kind of support are the seafarers getting in regards to this aspect?
Could you please clarify from whom or from what sources you mean?
So there are reports of a lot of mental health issues that are happening.
Mm-hmm.
There's also, I mean, this isn't a new phenomenon
Mm-hmm. Okay.
with the shipping industry, but it's kind of been put to focus because of this pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of support are companies, or is there any support right now
Mm-hmm.
regarding mental health and around these areas?
Okay. Okay. I understand you. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me think. Because okay. Personally, I believe that any mental, especially mental well-being and physical well-being, depends on you. You have to start
Okay.
from yourself, correct? You
Yeah.
have to uh, you have to leave this position of victim, like
Mm-hmm.
stop complaining about the what's going on, that you in this current situation. You have to face it. This is
Mm-hmm.
what I would recommend. If somebody ask me for advice, I would recommend, first of all, face the reality.
Okay.
Because and leave this position of victim when you always complain about things that happening around. First of all, those things that happened and happening now in 2020, we can't control them. This is first of all, correct?
Okay. Yep.
And if we at somehow we will bring it to our mind and understand it, I think that it will be a little bit easier, just a little bit already to in order to face this and encounter problems. Yes. Another thing
But,
from companies, what you're asking, yeah, if
mm-hmm.
another thing from companies, okay, but I strongly believe that people in companies, like managers, yes, as well, they also
Mm-hmm.
face these problems, uncertainty, and new things. Like like let's say nobody is ready for the war or revolution now. Yes, if it's
Mm-hmm.
going to happen, how to react? I mean, us ordinary people. I'm not talking about the politicians or army or something. I'm just ordinary people. I believe. Uh, Real support from companies, again, back to this question what you ask, can be done. This is only communication, yes, and then like yes, only this kind of support is my
Yeah.
opinion.
Okay.
Because maybe you can just add something, maybe, just to guide me in which direction. Maybe I just didn't understand clearly question. Okay.
So what kind of support can companies do around mental health? Now, I understand your position, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that have this position, and I envy those people that are strong,
Mm-hmm.
well, that are that think the way that you do. And this could
Mm-hmm.
be cultural, a cultural aspect, right, and how you were
Mm-hmm.
raised and everything like this. But there are nationalities, or there are people out there that, yes, they need more support when it comes to their mental health.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so what I was wondering, if you had that experience with it, I don't want to guide you in any
Mm-hmm.
specific way, but
Mm-hmm.
though your answer is sufficient. But I do want to point out that yes, it's okay for you to think this way because this is your personal opinion, but um but other people cannot handle the same things that you can, right? And I
Okay.
think everybody needs to be cognizant of that. But I do want to, because I know I'm running over my time,
Mm,
I want to open up the questions to um, the audience. If
mhm.
there's any questions, and you can go ahead and answer them. We do have a question from Rebecca.
Yes.
Well, actually, it's not a question. Oh, actually, there is.
No, it
Good.
is.
Yeah.
It's a question mark.
Yeah. Thank you for your interview. I saw at the end. If you're able to see it, go ahead. You're more than
Yes.
welcome to answer it.
I can, if you don't mind, I will just read it quickly
Of
for others.
course.
Yeah. Good support from a company is very important. Are you aware of other seafarers who were in the same situation without any support from their employers? Thank you for the interview. Rebecca, thank you very much for your question, and always welcome. If you want, you can find me in social networking, and then we can discuss if you want some next time. But answering your question, I know cases. I know many friends of mine, and from other companies. They just left their companies because they didn't have proper support, and they were a bit upset, and they stuck on board for a long time. They were I've forgotten how to say it properly in English. This they were given like many promises, yes, but nothing happened actually, and they had like official emails already with some confirmation that half of the crew going home, and then vessel arrives at port and nothing, and then silence, yes, and silence, and then agent is coming on board, and crew like kept on asking, what are you going to do? What are you going to? Nothing, Captain. I don't have any information about your crew, about anything. So yes, I know these cases, and actually it's very bad cases and disappointing cases. And my opinion, these companies probably, or these departments who are responsible, they were not ready for this kind of emergency situation. Because if you are not ready, it means you can't handle it. Emma, may I just add one important thing, only small thing. Yeah, regarding, remember I said that you have to start from yourself. Yes, it's true, but we have now, and I just puzzled your question, and then can give quick one sentence answer just to save your time. Remember that we have hierarchy on board anyway. We have senior ranks, and they're supposed to act as examples for junior ranks and the ratings, correct? And that's right. And I think it's our responsibility as a senior staff to take care about mental well-being of our crew. And I guess that's why I told you you have to start from yourself, because I already saw my from my position from chief officer. Yes, that's why now I just realized. Yes, I think maybe for office it's even for office people. I mean workers. It's difficult because it's long distance between us, and when you work with people in person, when you talk to them in private, I think it's more helpful and more useful. I notice it when I talk to my ratings Filipino guys, because they, I can tell you seriously that I had few cases that guys came to me and said like, Chief, I feel a bit upset. Can we just discuss? And then I spent like one time I spent even 2 hours of my time just to discuss, to support, to cheer up the guy. Because I clearly understood that it's difficult for them, because it was not about his staying on board. It was about he was worried about his family, because you know his province in Philippines, it was completely shut down. So even if he flies to Philippines, he's not allowed to go there, because it's even for him being like registered there, so he can't
go home. Right?
Yeah. And
well, these are your leadership skills. So I mean, this is a great skill to have, right? Because you can recognize what's going on with your crew, right? That's really important. Do we have any more questions from the audience?
Yes, Rebecca today is very popular, so we don't have a word for a user. Yes, there are many charities initiatives now happening to support seafarers. Oh, it's great to know. What do you think is the best thing to do to help the industry? Rebecca, this is a question, the excellent question. I was waiting for this question, to be honest with you, because it's real pain. So my opinion, because we always come to the point that relationship between seafarer and the company, correct? But my opinion that it must be started on the higher level, something like organizations, international organizations. As you said, Emma, before, that they should change their mind a little bit. If they know that the whole industry depends on the seafarers, because this industry, it's not like it's not the industry of mobile phones that you just need only one fabric, yes, where you can just make phones and then sell them. It depends on people, because vessels carry the cargo, but vessels operated by people. So simple, yes, and you need people from shore side to cover these business aspects, and you need people from ship side to do this like job, to be operator. So yes, and technical, yes, side. So, and my opinion that international organizations should react immediately on this, because to be honest, maybe I'm wrong, please correct me if somebody knows something, that no, not many actions were done from the beginning of this year to, I mean, ideally, I have some entries in my notebook that at least to have some kind of maybe temporary 1 year visa for seafarers, just like, you know, like a special visa or some permit for seafarers just to travel, just to join the ship at least. Nobody talks about visiting country, just making sightseeing, and no, I'm just saying, just cross, join, do the job, and come back home, finish. And just like open doors for seafarers, probably just support in this way, because I know that, okay, we are talking about Europe, but let's say European seafarers same time they couldn't go to Asian countries because let's say again you need visa. Right. So, and this is my opinion, and answering the question that yes, what Rebecca asked, that to make a final line, my opinion that it must be started from higher level of organizations, because they have more power, they have more influence, and then support companies and support seafarers. I mean, this is because it's the main whole system.
Right. Let's go ahead to the next question. Yeah. Thank you for answering that question.
Yes. Oh, Alex. Hello, Alex. It's great to see how positively you tell your story and share your experience. Thank you very much. Are you at all concerned about what the future ahead of you as a seafarer holds? The world is going to another lockdown now, so are you worried about the situation getting worse for seafarers, or do you see it getting easier? Alex, thank you very much. I really enjoy your questions, guys. So, are you still at all concerned about what the future ahead of you as a seafarer holds? The world is going so far, it's getting easy. No, I think it's going worse. I agree with you if you think so. But it's going worse. I heard news about another lockdown, about another problem with borders. And already I'm facing the situation that I need to renew my Schengen visa to travel to Europe, and I'm calling to the agencies, and they normally answer me, sorry sir, but not now. Okay, for seafarers I heard that it's easier because we can bring confirmation letters from the office and somehow try. But one lady told me it's like 50-50 again. So again, we're coming back to Rebecca's question. You see, no support, no support
from the government, right?
Yes, governments also understand. And Alex, I believe we have to pass through this difficult year, 2020. I believe, I know the human nature, and probably you know as well, we can adapt to anything. We can survive anyway, just a matter of time. So I believe we just must be, how you say, patient and wait for some steps which will be done on the higher level, as I said. And I believe it will improve. I strongly believe it will improve because there is no way. There must be done something, because we can't just be in this position like of uncertainty, as I said.
I agree. Any more questions?
Yes, Razvan. Oh, hello, Razvan. Nice to meet you. So, how does COVID situation change you, both as a person and as a seafarer? Man, thank you very much for this question, but I don't believe that we have enough time if I start talking about this.
Oh, no.
Yes, because I can talk about this for hours, and my wife already fed up with the stocks. Because to be honest, I consider when I spend 5 months at home instead of 2 that I supposed to, I didn't waste it. I concentrated on on getting new skills, on self-development, and I just realized that nowadays in our modern world, you have to be flexible. You have to be ready for changes, and you can't avoid it. And I agree that shipping is a trade that will exist always, because I believe more than 80 or 90% of trade is done by the sea and in the world. But still, as I said, that you never know what's going to happen. Especially, you know, in our case as a seafarers, we are restricted that in case of any medical issues, you can be just lost. I mean, and sit home without job. And what to do? I mean, this is reality, and unfortunately, we have to face it and be without complaints. And it changed me a lot. It changed me in the way that I realized that first of all, it made me stronger. It sounds very banal, I believe, but it made me stronger to withstand the problems, to react, to not to sit and just be in the role in the role of victim, as I said, but start thinking, okay, in case if it's not going to happen, what I'm going to do, because even though as I said, I start self-development, I start looking for new opportunities where I can apply my skills as a maybe not already seafarer, but at least the professional who has experience, who has knowledge, who can give
Leadership skills.
advice. Yes,
So,
leadership skills, expertise. Yes, exactly. Yeah, so that.
no, you bring up a good point, because as leaders, this pandemic has really changed the way we think, right? And we have to react quickly to make sure your team is safe, 2, we still get the job done, and keep everything moving. So yes, this is a great point that you bring up, because if you have your reaction time needs to be quick, and you don't have time to think about how it's going to affect you until afterwards, until all the dust settles and you're actually sitting down and say, wow, what a trip that was.
Exactly. Yes.
This is this is when we kind of think about it. I think we do have another question.
Yes, please. Okay, Kyle, if my pronunciation is incorrect, I'm very sorry. What would you advise to fellow seafarers who are struggling to join a ship for a prolonged period of time, especially when the maritime industry is all we know? What would you advise to fellow seafarers who are struggling to join a ship? Okay, guys, I don't have some magic tablet or some. Oh, sorry, tablet. Magic pill. It's in Russian tablet. Sorry.
Okay.
Magic pill. I don't have $1 million advice to give you what to do. But if possible, I just would like to share my positive and with you. And please try to stay calm. Try to remember that there are many things around us happening. We just need to open our eyes and just look around. Maybe at this point, maybe, I don't want to say it's for everyone, but maybe at this point, maybe it's a new chapter of your life. Maybe it's time to think about something new. Maybe you will see new opportunity. Maybe it's time for you to spend your time with your people you love. Maybe they need it now. because they also in the exactly same situation as you are. They also scared. They also worried. So, and I believe this is great, good chance and great chance for us to support them. But now about real advice, what to do. I can't give you steps because this is your life. I can't live your life. I'm sorry. I can, if you want, again, as I said, find me in social networking. We can discuss. Maybe I can listen to you. Maybe your specific story. Maybe I know some kind of thing that I can advise. But in general, I would say don't be depressed. Don't go down. And remember, as I said, there are many opportunities. The world is open for us. Even it's difficult time, but we must be open for this. And just ask your friends, maybe somebody can survive. I mean, honestly, I was trying to find some things when I was home. Okay, let's say on personal example, because personal example is the best one, is my as I think. When I just realized that I could stuck for some time at home, I just sent message to training center, Maritime Training Center, and asked them, guys, I know that you don't work now. You move to online mode. If you want, I can cover some lectures. I can share again my knowledge from some specific ship or some in specific rank. Maybe some lecturer is ill, or maybe whatever. I can cover somebody, at least a little bit, a little amount of money I can get from something. So, and then they considered my offer. Of course, I didn't work as a full-time lecturer, but at least I could share my expertise on some questions. They also, I give some consultancy service about how to build the course, let's say, for, just because I'm very sorry. Some lecturers, they're like already, they stopped sale like 15, 20 years ago, and the world changing. Yes, shipping is changing. So they just ask me what I can share with them about modern shipping, that they can update the course, because Seafarers coming, they updated, they just, they work on board. Yes, they know how things work, and they don't want to listen information that was 15 or 20 years ago. So that was my personal. I know, to be honest, okay, I'm very bad car driver because I got my license only a few years ago. But I know a friend of mine, he just started working as a Uber driver. You just register. I mean, but this is reality. Maybe you have to, maybe this bad situation will teach you something new. As I answered Razvan question, that this changed me a lot. Okay, I was not in very bad situation, like dramatic situation, but still, still I know guys who are like in very bad situation. They're sitting without payment already for 7 months, but at least they're like, they still opened. They call us, their friends, and asking maybe we have some options, some jobs, maybe we know somebody. You have to, as I said, you have to be open. And I believe if you open and if your mind is clear, and I believe something will find you, for sure. And you will find something for you.
Well, thank you. I think that's all the questions that we have. Well, let me check. Oh, Kyle says thank you for your answer.
Thank you very much as well.
So I do want to thank you so much for joining us, Vitalii. You've given a nice perspective. You've showed what kind of leader that you are. You've also highlighted the company that you work for, and I hope there's more companies and leaders that can follow in your footsteps. Maybe together we can try and get the governments to try and work with our seafarers and make their lives a little bit easier during this pandemic. I want to thank everybody else for joining the webinar, and it was a pleasure meeting you, Vitalii.
Yeah, it was amazing experience. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys. All the best to all of you. All the best.